Very lovely. Oh, hello there. Didn't see you come in. Well, hi, I'm LazyDude99, and welcome to my pros and cons of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, Out of the Shadows. There's a lot to dive into, so let's do this. It's lazy time, and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review and talk about movies and comics too. Let's talk about watch the review. Hello everyone, and welcome to another LazyDude99 review. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows is the review for today. I'm going to take a little bit of a different angle than I normally do with these reviews because there's a lot of things that I want to get at in this video, and most of them are just pros and cons of the movie. When it came to the first Ninja Turtles movie that came out, that was produced by Michael Bay, I didn't really want to see it. In fact, I wasn't going to, if it was only the fact that one of my past college buddies was doing a radio show, and I was being able to review stuff, and I was reviewing it on his radio show. And so I was doing that for a while, so I saw it, and so, you know, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but it didn't make a lick of sense. Whether it was Shredder leaving in the middle of a fight to let the turtles break the other turtles free, or whether it was the fact that the villain was going to launch this virus that he was going to infect the city with and then sell the cure to everyone off of his own building, which would make it very easy for everyone to spot and discover who did it. There was so many little things like that or the fact that they went from a mountain range to New York City and there are no snow-capped mountains in the New York City area, I should say. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't like about it, but there were some things that I liked. I liked the turtles. No, that was about it. I liked the turtles. And the action scenes were okay, but the action was never Michael Bay's problem. Even though, as I said, he didn't direct it, he only produced it. I don't even know if he produced this one. He probably did. No, yeah, I believe he did. Okay, let's just go into my pros and cons, because there's a lot. Alright, let's start with a pro. The first pro, the turtles are great. I like these guys who do the Ninja Turtles. They encapsulate the characters very well, and I think some of them have improved on them since the first film. For example, I find Mikey less annoying than I did in the last one. I find a lot of his lines annoying. Where in here, I thought he was actually more entertaining. He felt like Mikey to me. He felt like he felt like an actual fun character. Although I do think it's a little insulting when in the intro they're going over all the characters. It's like, Leonardo, the leader. Raphael, the muscle. Donatello, the genius. And Michelangelo, the pizza lover. I mean, I get it, it's kind of a joke, but at least say, like, the comedian or the lighthearted one or the one in orange. Or, I don't know, just the pizza lover, that's all you give them? The nunchucker, that would have been a fun one. But anyway, I like these turtles, I like the characters, they encapsulate their characters really well. Donnie's good, Leo's good, Raph is good. Their designs are still not great, because they're still big, but I don't know if they didn't shrink them down, but they don't feel as big as they did last time. I don't know if it was just, maybe they did shrink them down a little bit, but I don't know, it felt like they were a little smaller to me. Did anyone else feel that? It might just have been the way they were shot. They still were pretty huge. I guess it wasn't as big of a problem for me. Maybe I'm just used to it. Anyway, that's a pro. Con. Let's start with an easy one. Megan Fox still can't act! To be honest, actually, it's not as big as a problem as it was in the first film. I think her acting has actually improved. Doesn't mean it's good, though. She still can't act. Megan Fox can't act, and she's not a great April O'Neil. I still don't like her as April O'Neil, but they give her less to do in this film. She's not as central to the characters as she was in the first film. She was like the thing that was tying the whole plot together was April O'Neil. And here she has stuff that she needs to do, but it's about the turtles. The focus is on the turtles, where it should be. So she still can't act, and it's still not April O'Neil to me. There's a moment where she goes from playing a brainy girl to, dressing up like a slut and then just doing something so she can get what we want. I That's not April to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just I've been, spoiled with this new April from the new animated series who's just the best April out of all of them. Because, she's young and she's actually learning to be a ninja. So she's learned kung fu and she's learned to fight. And she's like, there's a moment in this movie that pissed me off. There's a moment where, her and Will Arnett's character are just, on a crate or something, and she goes, go knock him out! And he's like, why do I have to go knock him out? And she goes, I don't know if this was intentional, but it looked like she was, pointing to her breasts. I'm a woman! I can't do that! Bull crap. I mean, I don't know. To me, that... I'm not normally one to draw out the sexist card, but if that's what they were implying when she's like, I'm like, no, that was stupid. But as I said, maybe I'm just a little spoiled with this new April O'Neil that we got in the animated series and how great she is as a character in relation to just Megan Fox, and she still can't act. Pro, Baxter Stockman, played by Tyler Perry. Great! He did a great job as Baxter Stockman. He was funny, he was nerdy, he was a little bit giddy at times, and he was a little bit nervous at times. That's Baxter Stockman. Hands down, he did it perfectly. I don't think there's anything I can find wrong with his performance as Baxter Stockman. Yeah, that's great. Con. Casey Jones wasn't Casey Jones. Look, I'm a fan of Stephen Amell. I like him in the first and a half seasons of Arrow. You know what? He's a good actor. He's done some good acting. It's just, I think a large problem has to do with the way the character is written. And here, Casey Jones is a cop who is part of the prison transfer of Shredder, and when he breaks free, he's the only one that survives, so he says what he saw, and nobody believes him, which, I don't know, shouldn't the cop at least take what he says into consideration, check the security feeds on these traffic things, because they must have gone through some red lights, there must have been some visual evidence of this stuff. We live in the 21st century here, people. But back to my point, Casey Jones is not a guy who wants to be a cop. That's not Casey Jones. Casey Jones is a thug.
Now, you guys mind telling me what you're doing, my little green pal over there?
Who the heck is that? Wayne Gretzky? On steroids?
That's all he is. Casey Jones is a guy that he wants to be a hockey player, and he's thrown out of the major league, so he comes back to his old neighborhood in New York, and then he comes to see that his neighborhood is in a bad way. And so he's like, I'm tough, I'm just going to go crack some skulls. And he takes his hockey equipment and a mask and goes crack some skulls. But near, he's like, I play hockey, but I want to be a detective. And there's a really bad scene between him and the lead detective. He's like, you just wait, I'm going to be a detective next year. Yeah, I'm applying for detective, and I'm going to get it. And she's like, good luck with that. Yeah, it's just not Casey Jones. Casey Jones is he's a thug. He just wants to knock some heads around. He's not a guy that wants to get an honorable job. And by the way, he had way too nice of a car for him to be a police officer. Okay, that was too nice of a car. Casey Jones's car should be a car with personality. It's a cool car, but it's an old beat up car that he's just worked on his whole life. That's the type of car. He shouldn't have a fancy car like that it should take, a person owns a couple of franchises and able to afford. Come off that. Not to mention that this mask that Casey Jones wears, that was good for when this was originally written back in the day, but it doesn't make any sense that Casey Jones just wears that mask. Now, he sees some people running, so he grabs a hockey stick and a mask from his trunk, because that's just his hockey gear. Nobody wears those masks nowadays. Are you nuts? This is what hockey players look like nowadays. Nobody has worn those masks in decades. I mean, come off it. They don't even say, oh, it's something my dad handed down to me. It's just that's regular hockey equipment. No! I mean, come on! He's not a vigilante, he's a cop that just happens to follow along. It's nothing of Casey Jones. The character isn't there. Do I think Stephen Amell could have played Casey Jones? Maybe. I think he could have done it if he had a better, I don't know, better script, a better grasp on the character. Either way, I did not like him as Casey Jones at all. It wasn't Casey Jones. It was just a guy with the name of Casey Jones that just happened to have an antique hockey mask that he kept in the back of his car. Anyway, let's go back to another pro. One of the pros is that you get the feelings that these people are actually trying to appeal to what the fans did not like about the first one. Shredder is now not in some full-blown armor garb. He's just in a regular suit of armor that, if he was in there from the beginning, we would not have had all these complaints. And he's a regular guy. I wish he got to do some stuff, though. Shredder in the comics and in the series and everything, he's always just the best ever. And you never really see him fight at all. There should have been a moment where, like, Bebop and Rod said to him, "Hey, man, why, now that we're bigger and strong and all, why do we have to listen to little bump squeak here?" And then Shredder just mops the floor with him, and he says, "Any more questions?" No, man, we good. I was just asking." You know, it could have been something like that. And on the same token of wanting to get more what the fans want, Bebop and Rocksteady, they were entertaining. I liked them. They were fun. They were idiotic muscles. But I like how, you know, I thought, like, when they turned them into these creatures, they were going to be like, "No, what have you done to us? No." But they're just like, "Oh, man, look at you. And look at me. Oh, man, this is cool. This is so cool. This is awesome." I like that. They're just guys having fun with it, and you get kind of sucked into their energy. I like that. They were sure, the CGI is not realistic in any way, but they're fun characters, and if you can have fun with these characters, then so be it. Doesn't matter if they're realistic. Will Arnett is still in this movie. Why? He was a character you could have easily just let go. Let go of him. Let go. Let go. Lego Batman! Oh, he's going to be Lego Batman. The trailer for Lego Batman was in this movie. That looks pretty entertaining. Anyway, back onto topic here. Will Arnett can be a funny guy. As I just said, Lego Batman. Hilarious. But he has not been in the movies, and this was a character you could have easily dropped. Was there anybody clamoring for a Will Arnett return into the Turtles movies? Come here. Come here. Nobody smells the blood. Anyway, nobody was clamoring for Will Arnett to come back to the movies. Nobody wanted him back. Everyone was like, yeah, he wasn't funny. His character was kind of pointless. So let's write him in and keep him in the movie. To be fair, like last time, they don't have him in as much. But he still gets a moment where he has to shine. He has a moment where he takes a big chunk of the movie. The effects are actually pretty good. And the fighting is actually pretty good. But as I said, before, that wasn't never really a problem with this franchise. The fighting was fun. Pure BS. When the way they jump from one plane to the other, it's just like, oh yeah, so it just happened our planes just happened to be facing, going the same way, and they just happened to be crossing paths at this exact moment, boom. But they were fun, it's like, sure, as I said, it's not realistic in any way. When you see a raft smash into the plane, you're like, he be dead, they be dead, everyone dead. Heck, they pass out before they even got there. And shouldn't it be sucked out with the plane moving at this fast at this altitude? I'm just saying. But they're still fun and energetic, and they didn't win every battle, which I like. The characters kind of got down on themselves, and they kind of felt like, oh man, we're so close, so close. It feels really like a MacGuffin plot. Shredder has to get thing A and thing B and put it into thing C to get Krang, and then Krang shows up and they're like, well, now we have to do A, to do C, to do B, and then we got it all. And then we win. It's a cookie-cutter plot with very bad pacing. This movie did not need to be... I don't know the exact runtime, but the movie started at 7 and I got out about 9. So it's at least a 2-hour-long movie, or at least around that time, because I'm not sure if that doesn't count for commercials. But either way, I felt this movie went on and dragged way too long. There was plenty of scenes they could have cut. Will Arnett, it's just the pacing. It's not great pacing. I like the struggles that the Turtles are going through. Here's another pro. The struggle that the Turtles are going through is actually a fairly good one for them to feel like. There's a moment where Donnie says, "Hey, this stuff that can turn humans into animals, it could actually give us." It could turn us into humans. And Leo, I like what Leo does. Right now he's like, okay, right now we have bigger things to worry about, and this is not something that's going to help us. Donnie, just keep this between us. But Mike overhears, and Mike is like, dude, what the heck? This is not something you can just keep to yourself. And in a way, Leo's kind of right. This is not something that needs to be brought up right now when they have other stuff to worry about. But he's also wrong that he takes the decision on himself. He's like, hey, it's my decision. I'm making the call. You guys don't have to like it, but I'm the leader, so this is my call here. this is something you should be talking about. It's not something you should just be like, I decide everything. It's me, sort of thing. And I like how that kind of divides them in a little bit. And it's a natural way, and they do kind of split apart naturally, but come together back naturally. But as I said, the pacing is a lot... As I said, this thing is a mixed bowl. You know what it is? It's trail mix. That's what this is. This is... The Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows is trail mix. Because, you know how trail mix, you have, like, the things that... Oh, there's nachos, and there's, those shreddies, and then you just eat all the good stuff, and then by the end of it, you're just left with all these glaring bad stuff, like pretzels, and those, like, corn chips, or... I don't know, it's like, there's just stuff in there that you're just like, man, that was just dry and pointless, and that's what this movie is. It's a mixed bag of trail mix. There's some stuff in there that's good, and that's gonna last, and that's gonna be satisfying to you. The humor in this movie is very funny. The characters are very well. For the it's like half and half. I like the Turtles, I don't like April. I like Bebop Rocksteady, I don't like, Krang, really. I haven't gotten to Krang. Krang is kind of like thrown in here at the end. It's kind of rushed. It's so weird how this movie, I think, is too long but rushed at the same time. Krang is just Krang, and he's just there, and he's by himself. And I kind of think that the first meeting between Krang and Shredder was like rushed. He's like, "Hey, Shredder, I'm Krang. You're Shredder, and how about I come over and destroy your universe? You okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. All right, let's do that. Goodbye." It's like, okay. It doesn't really work for me. It would have worked for me if maybe like Krang was appearing to Shredder in visions while he was in prison, sort of thing, and they worked out this deal, sort of thing, and now that when Shredder escapes, he's able to, try to carry out his plan, sort of thing. That would make more sense to me. So I think I've talked mostly about everything in this. So, is this a good movie or a bad movie? Yes. Let me explain. In the end, when I looked at the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I'm like, oh, this is awful. This is not something that kids should like or be entertained by. It's just pure garbage. This movie is, it's not garbage. There's some stuff at it that is glaring and not so great, but there's nothing as bad as the first one. The movie is, as I say, it's a mixed bag, but I think in the end I enjoyed myself. I didn't hate the movie. I didn't despise it with anything. I got the feeling that these people were at least trying to give us a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and be faithful to the fans, and that is something I didn't really get coming out of the first one. And so I went out of this film wanting to like it and wanting to enjoy it, and I think I did for the most part. Is it something I'm going to buy on DVD? No, but if I had kids and they said, "Oh, Dad, we want to watch a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the new ones," I'd say, well, let's put in Out of the Shadows. I'd be okay with that. It's not a movie that I can necessarily take seriously. The animated series, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated series, is, well, much better paced, and the characters are much better, and it's just a better show. But in the end, I think this is a very satisfying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. You look at the old stuff that we have nostalgic for. Like I watched Secret of the Ooze tons of times. This is probably better than that. I mean, not the look of the turtles, because the suits were better than the CGI. In any case, I will say that I think that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows is an okay movie. It's okay. It's not great. It's not awful. It's just okay. So I'm going to give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Out of the Shadows a 5 out of 10. This is an average film. It's not great. It's not awful. It's just average. I think it's pretty middle of the road as far as movies go. I think this is a movie that kids can enjoy, but when they grow up, they kind of realize, oh yeah, it's not the best, but it's just whatever. I mean, I grew up with a lot worse stuff than this. I watch Warriors of Virtue all the time. Yeah, I know. I was a dumb kid. But in any case, that's how I feel about the movie. It's okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's just an average film. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm LazyDude99, and ooh, I get to review Finding Dory next. It's Pixar, so the odds of it being good are, well, let's just say a lot better than it was for this film. So, until then, I'm LazyDude99. See you later. Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.